Chapter 18. Shore Power. Meridian's coordination deck ran quieter when it was afraid. On the plot, the puddle jumper was a clean mark peeling away from orbit and dropping toward the ocean world. The descent line was so precise it didn't invite commentary. Precision meant a pilot who didn't waste motion, and a city below that had rules. Captain Lena Ward watched the track until it fell below line of sight. "Confirm last packet," she said. The comm officer checked and nodded. Arrival ping received as they entered the approach corridor. Next scheduled check-in in 90 minutes. 90 minutes was long enough for rumors to reproduce. Administrator Mara Keene stood near the edge of the deck, close enough to see the plot but far enough not to look like she was counting seconds. If something goes wrong, we don't know for an hour and a half. Ward didn't offer comfort. If something goes wrong, we still don't know until they tell us. The difference is, now we have someone on the inside who can tell us at all. Captain Henry Vance's gaze moved between the tactical display and the quieter readouts that mattered more than anyone admitted. Water reserves. CO2 scrubber curves. Reactor service intervals. The slow math of living. He'd commanded ships in battle. Hunger was a different kind of enemy, because it didn't get tired. "How's the fleet holding?" he asked. Ward didn't pad the answer. 3 ships are trending toward environmental faults earlier than projected. Keene's eyes narrowed. 3. Ward nodded. Not a crisis yet. It becomes one if the wrong ship tips first. Vance didn't ask which. Ward didn't make him. "The one carrying the most people," she said. Meridian's internal alert chimed. Not a klaxon. A tone meant to pull attention without pulling panic. Ward didn't look away from her board. Source. The comm officer's fingers moved. Civilian channel request. Liner Calypso. Environmental control fault. Requesting authorization to shed load. Keene's mouth tightened. "We can't keep managing survival with permission slips." Ward's voice stayed level. "We manage survival with permission because permission is the only thing that keeps a fleet from tearing itself apart." She keyed the civilian net. "Calypso. Meridian. State the fault." A tired voice answered, strained but controlled. "Captain Ward. Calypso Engineering. CO2 scrubber bank 2 is cycling erratic. Rising levels in compartments 7 through 12. We can reroute through bank 3, but we'll overload thermal exchangers unless we dump other loads." Ward's mind moved through Calypso's profile. Old. Huge. Full. "How long to stabilize if you reroute?" Ward asked. 30 minutes if nothing else fails," Calypso replied. "But we need to cut non-essential decks. Lighting, galleys, some lifts. We keep medical and water." Ward glanced at Vance. He was already doing the math: darkness, crowding, and how fear traveled faster in a corridor than in a room. "Do it," Ward said. "Cut non-essential loads. Keep announcements calm. Call it routine load management. Do not call it an emergency." "Understood," Calypso replied. Ward cut the channel and didn't let the silence thicken. "That's the pressure," she said to Keene, not as an argument but as a reality. "We either build capacity somewhere else, or we watch ships start shedding comfort until comfort becomes safety." Keene's gaze shifted to Atlantis on the display. "Capacity comes from the city." "It comes from the city," Ward agreed. "And from what we can safely connect to it." Vance's voice was quiet. "And from whether our team comes back with usable answers." Ward didn't say the other half. No one needed it said. She keyed a fleet-wide tight beam. "All ships. This is Captain Ward. Report environmental and medical faults early. No one hides bad numbers. If you have a problem, you say it while it's still a problem, not after it becomes a casualty report." Acknowledgements rolled in. Some captains sounded exhausted. Most sounded relieved that someone was naming the problem without turning it into theater. Ward closed the fleet channel and pulled up her readiness list. "We prep hulls now," she said. "On paper and on deck. No commitments. No movement. But no surprises later. Keen's eyes sharpened. You're assuming Atlantis will clear it. Ward didn't flinch. I'm assuming we'll regret waiting if they do. Vance leaned forward. Start with the smallest. Ward highlighted the candidates without reselling the concept. Mariner. Aegean. Windless. Larkspur, she said. Each gets a conversion assessment. Sealing plan. Flotation options. Mass stripping. Power export stability at low load. Breaker stacks and disconnect procedures. Emphasis on what we can prove. Keen nodded once. And passenger messaging. Ward's eyes flicked to her. Yes. If we ever do this, we do not call it a sacrifice. We call it what it is. A dock. A platform. A station that buys time. Vance exhaled. You're building consent. Ward didn't deny it. We won't survive without it. She opened a short captain's conference, and this time she didn't re-explain the entire idea. She gave them tasks. Fleet captains, Ward said. I need to know who can generate power curves. Who has spare breakers at export scale. Who can fabricate heavy connectors. Who can spare sealant, flotation material, and cable stock if we get clearance later. Faces appeared on the secure display, tired and practical. Captain Sovus of Windless spoke first. We can generate curves. We don't have spare breakers at your scale. Ward nodded. Send me what you can measure. Captain Harrow of Larkspur frowned. If this becomes real, I need guidance for my passengers. The words one way will start riots. Keen answered without making it a fight. Then you don't lead with one way. You lead with shelter. You lead with families sleeping somewhere that isn't an aging scrubber bank. You tell them there's a plan, and you tell them we are not moving until it's safe. Harrow didn't like it. He also didn't argue. Then Captain Jessamine of Mariner spoke in a voice that didn't carry pride, only resolve. If you need a test hull that can be made seaworthy and controlled through descent, Mariner is still the best candidate, Marn said. We're light. We can strip more. We can float. I'll volunteer if Atlantis clears the approach. Keen studied her face on the screen. You understand you may not come back up. Marn didn't blink. Administrator, I understand my passengers may not survive another month of holding orbit and bleeding filters. I'd rather turn my ship into something that keeps them alive than watch it become a coffin with a flight path. Ward didn't reward it with drama. She rewarded it with respect. Noted, Ward said. No commitment. Readiness only. But thank you. Marn nodded once. Just tell me when you have clearance. Ward ended the conference. Vance stood behind her station for a moment, watching Atlantis on the display as if staring hard enough could force it to become a solution. You have a candidate, he said. Ward's tone stayed flat. We have a starting point. Keen's eyes stayed on the planet. And we still don't know what's happening down there. Ward looked at the clock. Not yet. Interlude. Stargate command. Cheyenne Mountain did not change. The workload did. Gate operations were restricted to controlled tests and short comm windows. Anything else risked losing people mid-transit, and that was a risk the mountain could not afford while the world above it demanded answers. In a briefing room, Brigadier General O'Neill stood at the head of a table that had become a triage station for problems too big to fit on any one map. Lieutenant Colonel Carter ran a projector with two key traces displayed, mission status and the interference pattern that refused to behave like a normal gate anomaly. Daniel sat with a legal pad, turning technical reality into language that would not start a war with the wrong audience. Teal'c stood behind them, still, watching everything without being pulled into it. A handful of newly read-in liaisons sat along one side of the table, faces tight, realizing their world had been larger for years and nobody had asked their permission. Carter kept the mission slide up for their benefit, not because O'Neill needed reminding. Multiple SG teams are currently off-world, Carter said. We can maintain comm windows and update their orders. But routine recalls and new deployments are suspended unless it's life or death. The interference spikes are too unpredictable. O'Neill nodded once. If we can't guarantee the pipe, we don't send people through it. A secure speaker carried Lieutenant General Hammond's voice from higher command. Agreed, Hammond said. Prometheus will be used as courier for critical movement while gate operations remain restricted. One of the liaisons tried to hide surprise. A ship. 4 team movements. O'Neill didn't bother making it gentle. Welcome to the part where we do things the slow way so we can keep doing them at all. Daniel glanced up. And what about the political part of this? O'Neill looked at the muted footage on the wall screen, a night sky with streaks of light, the kind of evidence nobody could talk away. The political part is already happening, O'Neill said. Our job is to keep it from becoming a stampede. Carter switched slides. Galactica. Prometheus. Base star. F302 rotations. Joint channels open. Hammond's voice came through again. Boarding plan remains hazard controlled. Remote sensors first. Robotics where possible. We coordinate with Galactica. We do not rush. O'Neill leaned forward. And we don't just blow it out of orbit. A liaison started to speak, then stopped when Carter's expression made it clear the answer had teeth. Carter said it plainly. Destroying it creates an uncontrolled debris field in Earth orbit. We don't know what it carries. We don't know if it has a self-destruct protocol that broadcasts. We lose our only intact source of intelligence on silent systems, and we cannot confirm it's empty. O'Neill added, also, the world is watching now. A second orbital detonation does not help anyone. Teal'c said, and if it is a trap, destruction may complete the trap. Hammond's voice stayed steady. We keep it intact. We isolate it. We learn what we can without giving it opportunities. A staff officer handed O'Neill a note. O'Neill read it, then keyed the secure channel. Ty is on the line. This is Brigadier General O'Neill, he said. Go ahead, Colonel. Colonel Tyer's voice came through clipped and rough. We understand you intend to board the base star. If you find anything that suggests it can transmit or summon help, we need it immediately. Hammond answered, understood. Intelligence will be shared. Tyer's next question hit the room harder than any technical plot. And our civilian fleet. O'Neill didn't dodge it. Dodging turned allies into problems. We don't have a location, he said. We have a working theory tied to the interference signature. It suggests a coupling toward Pegasus. Ty sounded like he didn't care about theories. You get one chance to be right. Carter added carefully, if Atlantis is dialed again with sufficient power, the coupling may spike. If it does, we can correlate it and confirm whether Pegasus is where the other half of your fleet ended up. A pause. And can you dial Atlantis? Ty asked. Not yet, Carter said. Silence. Then Ty again. Then keep your eyes open. O'Neill's jaw set. We are. The channel ended. O'Neill pointed at Carter's plots. Find me a way to confirm Pegasus without risking anyone in transit. Carter nodded. Yes, sir. Back over the ocean world, Meridian held itself together with tasks and the quiet discipline of people who had learned that panic was expensive. The check-in window approached. Then the comm officer lifted a hand. Incoming tight beam from Atlantis. Text and voice tag. Ward leaned in. Put it up. Weir's message came first, diplomatic and steady. Meridian, this is Dr. Weir. Your team arrived safely. They are in our staging area. Dr. Zelenka has them now. Ward let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. A second transmission followed, brisker, with a faint accent threaded through clipped English. Captain Ward, Captain Vance. Dr. Zelenka speaking. Your people are competent. That is good. I do not have time for incompetent today. Ward kept her voice neutral. Understood. Doctor. Status. We are walking them through safe power routing, Zelenka replied. Atlantis distribution is layered. Some feeds appear non-critical and are not. We will not guess. We can energize systems in sections when we choose, but we do not yet have a complete dependency map. That is the danger. Vance leaned toward the MIC. Our objective is safe expansion steps and external interface feasibility. Yes, Zelenka said. External generation is possible in theory. In practice, stability decides. We treat this like surgery. Slow, staged, reversible. A louder voice cut in as if silence offended it. This is Dr. McKay, it snapped. Tell them their idea can work if they build hard disconnects and stop assuming Atlantis behaves like a ship. Ward kept her tone even. Doctor, understood. Great, Dr. McKay shot back. Then do what Zelenka tells you. Zelenka came back over him, unsurprised. We will send interface requirements. Practical. Your team remains here until we finish the first pass through routing and safety constraints. It is more efficient. Ward didn't argue. Understood. Maintain comm windows. We will, Zelenka said. End. The channel cut. Keen looked at Ward. They are alive. Ward's eyes stayed on the board. They are working. Vance exhaled once. And Atlantis isn't saying no. Ward's voice stayed clinical. Atlantis is saying slow. That's better than no. She opened a secure engineering line. Meridian Engineering, Ward said. Conversion assessment on Mariner. Seals. Flotation. Mass stripping. Power export stability at low load. Breaker and disconnect needs. Put it in a format Dr. Zelenka can use. A pause, then the reply. Aye, Captain. Ward looked at Vance. We don't move without clearance. Vance nodded. But we don't wait to be ready. Outside, the fleet held position above an ocean world it didn't understand. Below, 8 colonials walked through a city that did not care what they believed. The plan was forming. Not fast. Not clean. But real.